Welcome back everybody to another video, and today we are going to be going over Finvis and the screener, and I'll probably give you a couple of tips to increase the probability of your trades. But before we get into that, please do remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Your support really helps the channel to grow, and it is very much appreciated. Alright, so let's get right into it. This is finvis.com, and we're looking at the home page. Right off the bat, what we can look at here is this area. You can see a snapshot of the Dow, snapshot of the NASDAQ, and a snapshot of the S&P. You can see the percentage of advancing, declining, new highs, and then above the SMA 50 and below the SMA. So this is going to tell you that 70.4% of stocks currently are above their 50-day moving average, meaning that they're in a medium-term uptrend, and then 75% are above their 200, meaning that they're in a longer term uptrend. All right, so let's get into the screener here. This is a really good screener, actually, honestly, for free. It doesn't cost anything. Of course, you can pay to get more features, but I haven't necessarily done any of that. So let's just go over this. First of all, I like to leave mine as the descriptive, fundamental, and technical tabs. You can click this all tab and it'll show you basically everything. Then it gets a little bit crazy. I like to leave mine as just the single, but some people like it like this. So let's just go over these. First off, you can pick your exchange here: NASDAQ, New York Stock, the AMEX, market cap. This is where you choose the sizing of your companies. Me personally, I like to focus on just this part here. If I want to trade like penny stocks, I'll do the micro stuff. Mid cap over 2 billion, and then the large cap would be over 10 billion. We're going to leave that blank now currently. I'll go back to the descriptive tab. And then we've got the market. We just do the market cap. Earnings date, you can check to see if they have earnings upcoming tomorrow, the next 5 days. So sometimes when I'm looking for like earnings run-ups, I'll use this next 5 days for playing an earnings run-up. I'll use the next 5 days, then I'll use a relative volume of like 1.5 or 2, and we'll get to that shortly. Target price, I don't mess with this ever, honestly. Of course, the index, the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. If you're looking for things with dividends, this is what you can click here. Average volume, this is one that I use on every scanner, and for the most part I just use over 500,000, but you can use 1 million, 2 million, or anything that you prefer. IPO date, I don't mess with that either. The sector, I don't mess with that either, but I'll show you a trick with the sector here shortly. I do use the short float sometime when I'm looking for squeeze plays. Relative volume, this is a very good one. If you're looking for something that's trading at a volume that is much higher than average, you can click this. So let's just click this and go look at it. And I'll click on charts and show you what that kind of deal is. If you'll notice, if you click on something like this, it's usually had a huge move either very, very recently for pretty much almost all the time. But sometimes you'll find stuff like this CMD here, if you click that, and if you'll note, this is a huge, huge volume spike, and there's no movement here. So this is something you can add to your watch list, because if it hasn't moved yet, it's very likely going to move soon. And of course you can change this to 2 or 1 or anything. Like for breakouts, sometimes you want to do over 1.5. Shares outstanding, I don't mess with that either. Industry, same story. Current volume, that's one you may want to mess with there. If you get too many results, you can use this to narrow down your searches. Float, once again, if you're looking for like low float stocks. Optionable, shortable. If you are looking to short or trade options, of course you would want to click optionable here to filter out anything that doesn't have options. And then price. A lot of times, if I'll just use this like over $3 or $4 to filter out price ranges that I don't want to mess with at all. Fundamentals tab. I generally don't use this because I'm not a fundamental trader, but if you are a fundamental trader, this is where you'll find that. You can find the PE ratio, the debt equity, forward PE. The ones that you really want to look at would be the PE, the return on equity, the forward PE, the PEG is another more popular one, and then the price to sales here is a good one that you want to look at, and then the price to books, one that a lot of people use. I'll show you a fundamental scanner that I have before. I'll just go over it real quick for at the end of this video. Alright, so this one I do use a lot. So this performance tab, if you're looking for longs for the confirmation candle, you can use this today up. This will give you just performance. You could do, if you're looking for shorts, you could use today down. The 20-day simple moving average. This is basically pretty self-explanatory. If it's either below the 20-day simple moving average or above the 20-day simple moving average, you can use that, or price cross the simple moving average to the 20-day high low. This is another one I use for like a super overbought or a super oversold situation. Beta, a lot of people use this to find volatile stocks. I prefer to use the volatility. And then here you can do another performance, like if you want say today up, and maybe you want it to be up for the week also. You can use that to filter out things that are in a trend for the last 7 days. And then the 50-day moving average here, this will function exactly the same as the 20-day simple moving average. You can do percentages or crosses, or 50-day above the 20, or which would indicate a short-term downtrend. 50-day below the 20 would indicate a short-term uptrend. 50-day high or low. I use this also sometimes when I'm looking for extremely overbought or oversold conditions. I'll use like 20% or more above the high, or 50% or more above the high, just to find things in very extreme conditions. Average true range, I don't mess with this at all. Volatility, I usually use over 5% because I like things that move all the time. And then the same thing here with your 200-day simple moving average. Price 10% above or below. Same thing with these other moving averages. 52-week high or low, you can look for things at new highs, or 5% or more below the high. Things of that nature. This is one thing that I don't ever use, but if you were interested in the after hours movements, you could use this. You'd have to pay to upgrade Finvis. I use this very often. You can look for RSI levels, overbought, oversold, and this would be not overbought, not oversold, anything greater than or less than these numbers here. I use that quite often. I don't mess with this either. Generally, pattern. This is something I use all the time, and I'll just show you a quick way you can scan for a whole bunch of different stuff real quick at the end of this video also. Gap, if you're looking to play like gap and goes or gap and fills, this would be something that you'd be interested in. You can find things that have gapped 5%, 6%, any percentage up or down. Change from open, I don't mess with this, but a lot of people would be interested in this if they were more intraday traders looking for large movements intraday. And then candlesticks, I use this a lot. The main ones that I focus on here would be the long lower shadow, the long upper shadows for looking for pin bar candles. The hammer pattern is another good one. You could just look around at these and find your candlestick patterns and things like that. Alright, so let me just show you guys a couple of scanners that I do use sometimes. So we've been over a couple of these before. This is my support resistance long scanner, and it is just today price up, volatility week over 5%, not overbought, horizontal support resistance, And then when the descriptive tab, I just have volume over 500K, and I trade options a lot, so options. And then we'll click on charts here. And as you can see, most of these things are going to be near or bouncing from support levels. Same thing. This is my short. Everything's going to be the same, except that, oops. Oh, what did I do? Let's go back to that. SR short. So everything's going to be the same except to date down, and it's going to be not oversold instead of not overbought. And then my SR break, everything is the same except there is no performance, and there's no RSI rating for this one. Because when I'm looking for this, I'm looking for breakouts. So the levels don't really make much of a difference. See, like here, I would be looking for things like this. This is a breakout, and this is a possible retest for a downward movement. This is my extreme oversold, what I was talking about here. So in the descriptions tab here for the extreme oversold, I just want volume over 200,000, and I'm looking for things that are up today, so they're maybe turning around, but they're making a new low for the last 20 days, and they're making a new low for the last 50 days, and they're oversold under 40. So, and what I'm looking for scanners like this are big movements down and possible reversals out of those big movements. Here's this fundamental scanner that I was telling you guys about. And we'll just go over that really quickly. So we're looking at mid-cap companies over 2 billion, average volume of over 300,000, price over $10, because I don't want to trade companies that aren't worth less than $10 for a fundamental scan. I'm looking at price to earnings of under 10, a return on equity of over 10%. So, you know, nice company growth. And then for the technical tab, I'm just looking for this quarter for price to be up and for price to not be overbought. So you'll find fundamentally strong companies with this that are not in an overbought state. Let's see, what else can we go over here? This is one of my more fun, these two here are one of my more fun scanners. This is low float stocks. So for like micro cap companies that have a lot of insider buying. So institutional transactions would be over 50%, and then you of course want the sales growth to be over 30%. That just means that the company's actually making money, and institutional buyers are picking it up a lot. And then as far as the technical tab goes, we've got not overbought, so we're looking for longs for this setup. And then I'll go over my low float runner here. All right, so what we're looking for here is micro and nano cap companies. We want price to be under $10, the short float to be under 30%, average volume over 200, RSI over under 40, relative volume we want it to be over 2 times its average. So, and of course you can use micro caps as well for this, and you'll get a couple more. So these are very, very low float stocks that could possibly make some very large movements. Like as you see here, it's a very volatile stock. So that's going to about cover it for the Finvis stuff here. I think in our next video, we're going to actually go over the scans that I look at. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the 3 that I use more than anything are going to be this SR break, SR short, and the SR long, because support resistance trading is really my kind of go-to thing. But please do remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see everybody in the next video. Cheers.